The hotel suite felt too quiet for a wedding day. Arman Halim jolted awake at 6 a.m., his phone vibrating with congratulatory messages from friends and family. But the bed beside him was empty, cold as if Zaira Noor had been gone for hours. He smiled, assuming she'd gone to prepare with her bridesmaids, until he noticed her engagement ring sitting on the nightstand, catching the early light like a tiny, terrible star. His calls went straight to voicemail, every single one. "Baby, where are you?" he whispered to the silence, scrolling through their messages. The last one, sent at 2:47 a.m., simply read, "I'm sorry. I love you more than my next breath." Panic crawled up his spine. He threw on clothes and rushed downstairs, where the wedding coordinator intercepted him with worried eyes. "Mr. Halim, Miss Noor checked out at 3 a.m. She left this for you." The envelope trembled in his hands. Inside, Zaira's elegant handwriting blurred before his eyes. "My beloved Arman, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. Not because I don't love you. God, I love you so much it physically hurts, but because love sometimes means knowing when to let go. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a rare heart condition where strong emotions, joy, fear, passion, can trigger fatal arrhythmia. Last night, I went to see Dr. Rashid one final time, hoping for a miracle. Instead, I overheard him telling a colleague that the stress of our wedding night, of pregnancy someday, any of it could kill me. I can't ask you to spend your life watching me die, measuring every laugh, every touch, every moment of happiness against the possibility that it might be my last. You deserve a wife who can dance at your sister's wedding without collapsing, children who don't grow up motherless, a future that isn't shadowed by my failing heart. This is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the most loving. Find someone healthy, Arman. Live the full life I can't give you. Forever yours, even in absence, Zaira." Arman's knees buckled. The letter fell from his hands as hotel staff rushed to support him, but he couldn't hear their concerned voices over the sound of his own heart breaking. For 3 days, Arman existed in a fog of grief and confusion. His family wanted to call the police, but something in Zaira's letter stopped him. This wasn't a kidnapping or a breakdown. This was a sacrifice she believed was noble. He couldn't accept it. On the 4th morning, sitting in their shared apartment surrounded by packed wedding gifts and wilted flowers, Arman began searching for the woman who thought disappearing was an act of love. He started with her phone. He still had access to their shared cloud account. She'd turned off location services, but in her haste, she'd forgotten to delete her search history. Quiet coastal towns near Karachi, rental properties, no questions asked. How to say goodbye without saying goodbye. His chest tightened. She was planning to die alone. Then he found something else, a voice memo dated 2 months before the wedding titled, "Just in Case." His finger hovered over it before pressing play. Zaira's voice filled the empty apartment, soft and breaking. "Arman, if you're hearing this, I'm already gone. I need you to know that every moment with you was worth the risk. The way you held my hand during movies, how you'd wake up early just to make me chai. That night in Murray when we stayed up until dawn talking about our future. I regret nothing except leaving you." There was a long pause. Then, "There's a place I used to go as a child when the world felt too heavy, where the sea meets the cliffs and time moves differently. If you ever want to understand why I did this, go to Kund Malir. Look for the house with blue shutters on Cliff Road. But please, my love, don't come looking for me. Let me love you from a distance." Arman played the message 7 times, memorizing every inflection, every breath. Then he booked a ticket to Baluchistan.
The journey took 18 hours, first by flight to Gwadar, then a rattling bus along coastal roads, and finally a hired car through rocky terrain. When he arrived in Kundmalir, the sun was setting, painting the Arabian Sea in shades of amber and rose. The house with blue shutters sat alone on the cliff's edge, exactly as Zaira had described. Through the window, he could see a solitary figure standing on the balcony, watching the waves, her dark hair catching the dying light. His Zaira, alive, alone, waiting to die.
Armand didn't knock. He simply walked through the unlocked door, his footsteps echoing on the stone floor until Zaira turned, her face draining of color. "No," she whispered, backing against the balcony railing. "No, you can't be here. Armand, please." 3 years, he said quietly, his voice trembling with controlled emotion. "You've known for 3 years and never told me?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I tried to break up with you a dozen times. Every time I'd see your face and I'd convince myself we could have just a little more time. I was selfish and weak, and now you think running away is somehow less selfish?" His voice cracked. "You think leaving me standing at the altar, wondering if I'd failed you somehow, was the loving choice? You deserve—" "Don't tell me what I deserve." The words exploded from him, months of unspoken fear and frustration finally surfacing. "I deserve the truth. I deserve a partner who trusts me enough to face hard things together. I deserve you, Zaira, sick or healthy, for whatever time we have." She slid down the wall, sobbing into her hands. "I can't watch you grieve while I'm still alive. Every time you'd look at me, you'd be counting down. Every intimate moment would be shadowed by fear. I'd see it in your eyes, the terror that this kiss, this touch might be the one that stops my heart." Armand crossed the space between them and knelt, taking her trembling hands. "Do you remember our second date? You made me try that ridiculously spicy biryani at that street stall, and I was trying so hard to impress you that I ate the whole thing without water." Despite herself, Zaira laughed wetly. "Your face turned purple." "I thought I was going to die," he said softly, "but I'd never felt more alive, because I was with you. That's what love is, Zaira. It's not avoiding pain or fear. It's choosing to feel everything deeply, because time is precious." "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know. So am I." He cupped her face, his thumb tracing the path of her tears. "But I'd rather have 1 real year with you than 50 years with someone whose heart still beats but never truly loves." The sun had fully set now, leaving them in twilight. The sound of waves crashing below filled the silence between them.
That night, they didn't sleep. Instead, they talked, really talked, for the first time since her diagnosis. Zaira explained the doctor's exact words, the statistics, the terrible choice she'd faced: risk everything for love or save Armand from heartbreak by breaking his heart first. Dr. Rashid said emotional stress was the trigger, she explained, wrapped in a blanket on the small sofa. The wedding, the intimacy, even arguing with you, all dangerous. So I thought if I left, if I made it clean, you could move on. Armand sat across from her, close enough to touch, but giving her space. What else did he say? The full prognosis. She hesitated. That with medication and lifestyle management, I could live 5 years, maybe 10. But high-stress situations, pregnancy, intense physical exertion, extreme emotions, could trigger sudden cardiac arrest. There's a surgery, but it's experimental, and the success rate is only 40%. Failure means death on the operating table, Armand finished. And you chose to spend your remaining years alone on a cliff instead of taking that chance? I chose to let you be happy. I'm not happy, Zaira. I'm hollowed out. I've spent the last week wondering if I'd somehow failed you, if our love wasn't enough. He finally closed the distance between them, pulling her into his arms. If we only have 5 years, I want every single day, every argument, every makeup, every ordinary morning. I want to grow old with you, even if old means 35. She broke down completely then, her carefully maintained walls crumbling. I'm terrified of making you a widower, and I'm terrified of living without you while you're still alive. His lips pressed against her temple. We face this together. We research the surgery. We find the best specialists. We fight for every moment, but we do it together. Later, as the moon rose over the Arabian Sea, Zaira led him to the bedroom. I need you to understand something, she said, her voice steady despite her trembling hands. If we do this, if we choose this, there's a real possibility that one day, in the middle of loving you, my heart could simply stop. Armand unbuttoned his shirt slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. Then we make every touch count. What followed was tender and desperate, careful and consuming. He kissed every inch of her skin as if memorizing scripture, and she held him like he was the anchor keeping her tethered to life.
2 months later, Armand stood in a different kind of waiting room. Not for a wedding, but for the experimental cardiac surgery Zaira had finally agreed to undergo. Dr. Layla Mansour, Pakistan's leading specialist in genetic heart conditions, had reviewed Zaira's case and offered a glimmer of hope, a new procedure that could strengthen her heart muscle and reduce arrhythmia risk by 70%. The surgery took 9 hours. When Dr. Mansour finally emerged, exhausted but smiling, Armand nearly collapsed with relief. She's stable. The procedure was successful. She'll need months of recovery and lifelong monitoring, but Miss Noor has a real chance at a full life now. Armand was allowed in after she woke. Zaira looked fragile in the hospital bed, hooked to machines that beeped steadily, proof her repaired heart was beating strong. "You stayed," she whispered. "Always." He kissed her bandaged hand. "Though I'm still angry you tried to martyr yourself. I'm sorry I didn't trust us enough." Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought love meant protecting you from pain. I didn't understand that real love means facing pain together." 3 months into her recovery, on a quiet evening in their Karachi apartment, Armand presented her with a new ring. Not an engagement ring this time, but a promise ring engraved with coordinates, the exact location of that house with blue shutters where he'd found her. "What's this for?" she asked, turning it in the light. "For the wedding we'll have when you're ready. No pressure, no timeline, just us, choosing each other every single day until we can stand up in front of everyone and make it official." Zaira slipped it on, laughing through tears. "You know, the doctors said I still need to avoid extreme stress." "Then we'll have the calmest wedding in history," he grinned. "Just close family, simple vows, and maybe we'll skip the dance floor." "I want to dance with you," she said firmly. "I want everything, Armand. The wedding, the ordinary mornings, the arguments about whose turn it is to do dishes. Maybe even, someday, very carefully, a child. We'll talk to Dr. Mansour about all of it." He pulled her close, mindful of her healing chest. "But right now, I just want this. You, alive in my arms, planning a future." That night, as they lay tangled together, Zaira whispered against his chest, "Thank you for not letting me go." "Thank you for coming back," he murmured into her hair. Outside their window, Karachi hummed with life, chaotic, beautiful, uncertain, just like their love, just like tomorrow. And for the first time in years, Zaira's heart beat strong and steady, not in fear of breaking, but in hope of all the moments yet to come.